I know I was joking that we're now a monthly podcast, but we might just end up being a monthly podcast because it's been a really busy year.
Man, and summer especially. I It's never my intention to be this busy. I can assure you that.
And you've had a whole format flip at your station in Minnesota,
Very
which
big, very big.
which has been great, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
saw a recent blurb online that was like, guess who's doing great with the new format?
Yeah, it's really good, very invigorating. There's just a sense of, hey, we're doing this right. It's cool. I'm much happier with the playlist now. The music we're playing has been, not that I didn't like the old music, but it's a lot fresher. Hearing the replacements and Husker Du and things like that are really that's good for the old central nervous system.
I was just saying yesterday how it hurts me to say this out loud, but I'm going to do it. The 90s were 30 years ago.
Oh hell yeah, they were. Yeah.
So everything that happened in that decade is
Yeah.
classic
Oh,
AF.
I mean, the worst is when somebody says something like, okay, Dazed and Confused came out in 1993 and it was about 1976, which means right now, if you made a movie about like that, it would be about 2008. Right. It's just like, wait, what?
Class of
Yeah,
2008 needs to step up.
yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. Tell
Like,
me
what
what
was
I
that? In
missed,
Wilder?
man.
That era?
But
I don't even know.
I remember the summer of '95 very, very clear. It was a great summer. I was on the road all summer in Europe with the Stones and then doing a tour called Horde. And I turned 30 in the summer of 1995, which means I'll turn 60 in the summer of 2025. I remember that all very, very clearly. And it is crazy that was half my life ago right now.
I I remember very distinctly when Dazed and Confused came out. I was working in the record store, and
Mm-hmm.
it was my favorite movie of all time, like instantly. And it wasn't
Mine too.
in all the theaters because people don't remember when it first came out. It was like an independent film.
And it also it didn't do a lot of business. It showed at one place in Atlanta, and that was it. And it was probably there for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And a buddy of mine said, "You got to come see this movie." And I had seen the poster, and I was like, "No." I just thought it was going to be a stupid stoner movie. And he said, "No, no, 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 no. You don't understand. You have to come see this." And I think I saw it 3 times in a month in the theater. I kept because I kept bringing people back. It just
Mhm.
absolutely. And last night we had an event with the station at a brewery in town, and a guy came up and he said, "Okay, what's better, Fast Times or Dazed?" And I mean, Fast Times came out the summer before my senior year of high school. Okay, I loved that movie, but there's no comparison in my mind. It's like Dazed Confused is Fast Times is one of my favorite movies of that year, and Dazed and Confused is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just there's just a huge difference in the meaning, how much those movies mean to me, anyway.
That would be like choosing between the children to me. But also, what's funny is you hated the poster. I tried to steal the poster after I saw the movie. I thought it was
Yeah.
so good. I had like a butter knife in my bag. So weird. So yeah, I had like my utensils that I took my lunch
Mm-hmm.
to work with in my purse, and I was like trying to pry
Yeah.
open that because it was the last movie that played. I had to drive 2 towns over to see it. Like I was living in
Wow.
Vacaville at the time, and I had to go through Fairfield to Vallejo to watch the movie. And I'm not going to say Vallejo is a high crime area, but I'm just going to say that if somebody stole a movie poster, it's not something that would be investigated. So
Sure. Gotcha.
really hard with my butter knife to like jimmy
Mm.
that thing open and steal the poster.
Oh man.
I failed.
Fast Times was, I'm in a small town in Kentucky, and that's kids in Los Angeles. It was aspirational, but it was in no way relatable. Whereas Dazed and Confused, I was like, oh, I was one of those eighth grade kids. That was my life. That all made perfect sense to me. So, there was a big difference there. But I guess if you're a kid in California, Fast Times doesn't feel like it's from another planet.
Well, did you have a mall in Kentucky like they did?
Yeah, but it was just, everything's better on the big screen. You know what I mean? Like the music. Yeah, we had a mall and they had a record store called the Sound Shop, and it was, you'd get an album 3 months after it was released and stuff like that. It was very, very, very it was the antithesis of like that mall in Fast Times. And I
Yeah.
went to a tiny high school, and we didn't have one Pat Benatar, much less
I was
three.
just gonna say, did you have any Pat Benatar?
No.
Yeah. We
No.
didn't have any Pat Benatars at my school either, but
Yeah.
we tried. I was in
We
elementary
did.
school when it came out,
We
so
did try.
I remember being in elementary school and kids had been able to see it, obviously not me, and they were trying to explain it to me, and they were trying to explain the carrot thing, and I was like, I
Yeah. Huh?
I don't understand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's eating a carrot? Like, it made zero sense to me because I was like 10.
Right. Sure. All I know is
Preference.
what I remember is suddenly everybody had that first Cars record and wanted to hear Moving in Stereo again. Like, oh, hey, that's the soundtrack of a moment none of us will ever forget.
Honestly, every time I play that song, or if I play Whitesnake, Here I Go Again, I'm like, I'm going to give you a minute because I know the videos in your head.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
and ZZ Top Legs. Those three videos will always, I think every Gen X person attracted to women is going to need a moment after that song.
That's very true. Early 90s in Atlanta, went to a gig. What was it? I went to see U2, and a couple of guys in a band, and I went. And afterwards, we're in the green room talking to the band, and Kevin Kline and Phoebe Cates were there, and they came over, and it couldn't have been nicer people. Both of them were just awesome to hang out with. And Kevin was shooting a movie in Atlanta, so he was in town. And I remember then, even just as I was talking to Phoebe Cates, I just thought, I feel so bad for what every member of my generation thinks as they're speaking. Like, there's no avoiding it. I'm just looking at her, and she was lovely. It was great. I wasn't thinking salaciously. I was just thinking like, oh my God, that's just your life now. Must be guys like me talking to you, and she knows that I know that she knows that I'm trying not to think about it.
Eye contact.
Yeah, that's right. That's it, exactly. The best part of that story, though, is about a week later, I was in a parking lot outside of a hardware store, and Kevin Kline came past me in a car. And as he drove by, I screamed, "Asshole!" Like, as in from A Fish Called Wanda. And he spun around and then he kind of looked at me, recognized me from before, and laughed and hit the horn and gave me the thumbs up. And I was like, all right, cool. And you know what? This is crazy. And now that I'm thinking this, so that was 1992. And I was at a Knicks game in 2001 and bumped into him. And I said, oh, hey, man, Kevin, my name's Steve. We met. He goes, oh, Atlanta, you're the guy in the Black Crowes. It was like 9 years later. And I was like, how the hell do you remember that? What a guy.
No kidding. I literally was just saying this about Mike Inez from Alice in Chains, who we have mutual friends. We've met tangentially over the years. We've worked together periodically, gig day, but that's it because I was local and he was touring. And he still very much always remembers me and remembers that I'm with the station and remembers that, I worked at the Warfield, and like, I can't remember people I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I will remember. I remember faces, and I can even remember a face and remember that, oh, that's the guy that I talked about the Seattle Supersonics with in 1994. But knowing their name and knowing where we met, like that always eludes me. But I saw a guy last night at the station event, and I met him right when I got to Minnesota, like in 2023. Hadn't seen him since, and I completely remembered the whole thing we talked. We had a really great chat, but I'm just like, but at one point I said, hey, where did we meet? And what's your name again? But we had already had this involved conversation of everything we had talked about 2.5 years ago. But yeah, I couldn't figure out the context. Speaking of Mike Inez, who I texted with earlier this week, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time when Nikki got on a plane and went to Birmingham, England, because I've still not heard about this. And I'm sure this week has changed. It probably makes it harder and easier to look back, but just, indulge me. How was it?
Magical.
Awesome.
I mean, all the jaded, like, been there, done that, don't call me if there's no parking, just vanished. Everything worked out. I mean, it was like it was like the rock gods were like, bitch, you need to be there and we're going to make it happen for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew out coach, but middle seat empty as they closed
Nice.
the doors. I looked across and there's some kid across the way next to me and I was like, did we just get upgraded? And he's like, oh, did. And then he was a perfect gentleman, right? Headphones on the whole time. He's like a Gen Zer and just super quiet. And every time I needed to like pop out, he was like, oh yeah, no problem. Always ready, always awake, you know.
Great.
It was like the perfect coach experience, if there is such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I landed and we went to Dishoon. Have you been to Dishoon in England?
I know of it. I've never been.
Okay, so I didn't, but apparently it's like the Indian place and there's always a line to get in and I had no idea, but my friend Polly, who I used to work with at Bill Graham Presents, lives there now and she made reservations for us.
Nice.
So we got great like Indian fusion lunch. And on the way to meet her, I was like on Instagram, I posted a picture of me in the tube and a friend of mine was like, I'm in the tube right now too. And I was like, where are you going? He's like, Earl's Court. And I think he was going to Earl's Court and I was going to someplace else. Yeah, he was going to Earl's Court and I was going to King's Cross. And I was like, well, Earl's Court is 3 stops away. I'll hop off and wait for you.
Oh, that's crazy.
My flight was early. So I was running early to meet her for lunch. And so I popped off, ran into him. He lives in LA. It's like not like I would ever see him ever. So we went and grabbed a coffee at the pub and then I hopped back on the tube and went to get lunch and everything just kept like rolling in that direction, you know?
Excellent. Yeah.
I got back on the train. I got to my hotel. I had 0 problems with anything. Checked right in. Everybody was great.
Man.
Took a bubble bath and went to bed early because it was a long, I'd been up for like 48 hours.
Yeah,
at that
sure.
point. And then the next morning I run into Mike Inez in the hotel. I saw Whitfield Crane at breakfast. And I just felt like I was weirdly like at home away from home.
Yeah.
Like I'm running into all these people that I know and people that I don't know, but really wanted to see. I saw Jakey Lee in the lobby and he looked great. And I just started getting more and more excited for everything. And fangirl moment, Mike Inez introduced me to Susan Silver. And I was like,
nice. Yeah. Okay.
Like for women in the industry, dude.
Yeah, right. No, I get it.
That's huge. I was very excited to meet her.
I know that feeling. And I still want to hear more, but it's just reminding me when the Led Zeppelin show in 2007, my wife and I went, and it was just everywhere we went for 3 days in London, we ran into people we knew. The gig, we ran into 600 people we knew. You know, it was like everybody's there for the same thing, and everyone just somehow magnetically goes to the same coffee shops and the same restaurants and the same park to walk at the same time. We just kept bumping into people in London like it was a tiny little village. It was great, and that always makes everything really cool. So,
it's a
please
weird
continue.
Magnetism. Yeah, it's a weird magnetism that just puts you at ease, you know? I mean, I traveled by myself the whole way, and at no point did I really feel like I was ever by myself.
Yeah.
There was always like friendly metalheads or somebody I actually knew or had a history with or was familiar with or whatever. It was like so nice. And the day before, Birmingham like rolled out the red carpet for Black Sabbath, and there was an actual map. People were handing out these maps of like the Black Sabbath sites in the city. And so, which was perfect because it was like, here's how to get to the bridge and here's how to get to, there was an Ozzy exhibit I wouldn't have known existed that I got to go see. And my friend Amanda was there and her boyfriend was flying in, but they got stuck. I guess there was some kind of Paris airport thing happening, right?
Okay.
It was delaying a lot of people. So she was stuck by herself all day too. So the two of us just did all of the Birmingham and the Indian food, which was again a fusion place that everyone recommended. I think England is kind of like we're past the basics.
Yeah,
and
right.
Everything needs to be Indian fusion, which was not bad. It was really, really good. I can't remember the name of the place off the top of my head, but it was over there. There's like this whole extra need to make everything pretty. Like it originated there, I guess, because Gordon Ramsay finally brought it over here, and now American restaurants are like, oh, we should probably make that prettier. But I think it originated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense, especially in a city like Birmingham. It's like, let's get as much pretty as we can in here.
Right. And everyone kept saying, Birmingham's like the Detroit of England. But and to be fair, I was just in that really cute, artisan-y, touristy downtown hotel area. But it really was just super nice.
Yeah.
Everybody was great. The train is amazing. I mean, how easy is it to just walk 10 minutes? And that's what I ended up doing on show day, right? I come out on show day and it's a madhouse because you've got bands staying all over the city. And there were a bunch of bands staying at our place. So I walk out front ready to go to the venue, and it's like a cab line down the street. It's tons of coaches plus all the hired cars for all the bands that they're trying to coordinate. And they all look the same. So nobody knows whose is whose.
Yep.
And the concierge is like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, concierge called me a cab. And he's like, I'm concierge and I didn't call you a cab. And I was like, well, there was a woman at your desk. She said there was a cab out front for me. And he's like, what? He goes, what's your cab number? I go, well, she didn't give me a number. And he was like, if you walk 10 minutes that way, the train is right there. You take the train to here and it'll get you to there. And I was like,
nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so then I actually got lucky because I took the train to my friend's hotel and they were playing that day. So I got to ride in with them in their car. But because everything was so strict, they couldn't take me all the way because I didn't have a backstage pass. So it was like they had to drop me. I had to do the tuck and roll.
Nice. Yeah. Not only do they have to drop you, they hope no one sees that they're dropping you.
Yeah. But as soon as I walk up, I mean, I like ran into Jose Mangan from SiriusXM and I saw the merch booth and decided I was never going to wait in that line ever. And somebody actually, a friend of mine who's in Birmingham had messaged me like right when I was looking at the merch line. And he goes, you know, they have it all online, like every bit of it. There's nothing you can get there that you can't get online. Right. And I was like, well, I'm going to order that right now.
Yeah, heck yeah.
There's a huge line to get in, but I had like a Supreme seat, which got me in a different gate. So I showed them my ticket and they're like, oh yeah, you can just go right in.
Awesome.
So I get in and I'm not kidding you, Steve. I'm literally sitting with Bill Ward's family.
Nice. Yeah, that works.
Like I had the best seat. And it was incredible. I could see straight across to the stage. And there's all these, and apparently his family hasn't hung out in a long time because they're constantly talking in front of me. Like their heads are just going like this.
Right.
And they're like, oop, sorry, love. Yeah. I'm like, so a friend of mine, another friend of mine walks over and he's like, hey, I didn't know you were here. I was like, I didn't know you were here. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing security for Bill Ward's family. That's this whole section. Why are you here? And I'm like, single seat.
Sweet.
Squeezed it right in there. And he goes, well, we've got some empty seats next to me, so just come sit with me. And I was like, perfect. So they had bought a couple extra seats for the security that they needed. And it turned out at one point I was sitting next to like a couple of guys from Scotland Yard and I didn't know it. After they left, he's like, you know, those are the Yard guys. And I was like, what Yard? And he's like, Scotland Yard. Cool.
Very cool.
So at one point, a lot of points I could see right down into the gold circle section on the floor where most everybody was. And that's where most of the people I knew were. So I had like a little bit of FOMO because I was like, I can see you. Right. I mean, I wanted to go say hi. But then I was like, nah, this is the best seat ever. I actually, for the first time in decades, went to a show and stayed in my seat for the whole show.
Awesome. Fantastic.
I got up to pee and to get a coffee because I was not waiting in line for anything else because the queues were maniacal for everything.
Oh, I'm sure. That's a long day too, man.
Yeah. And everything went so fast. I saw the schedule the day before and I was like, there's no way they're keeping this schedule. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like 10-minute rounds and 13-minute sets. And I was like, come on.
Yeah.
No, they did it. It was like boom, 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 band, band, band. You couldn't leave your seat.
Yeah, I think that I don't think it's an oversimplification to say every single person, I'm sure, never forgot the point of the day, and nobody was going to be the person that messed it up.
This is what I was just saying yesterday. You could tell every single band knew. Some of them were on tour, some of them weren't. Didn't matter. They knew that this was bring your A game day. This was no excuse day. This was it's not about us day. This was, you know, every single person in that place, fan, band, crew, whatever, was like there for Ozzy.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
that emotion just brought this kind of like this benevolence, this like just magical happiness across the crowd. Like I didn't see people fighting. I didn't see, the typical that you had your drunken revelry, but
Sure.
everybody was just cool. Like
Yeah.
nobody was being a dick about anything that I could see. And
Everything I saw just looked that same way. You could feel it. It's just fantastic.
yeah. And then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, is this you on the live stream?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then
yeah, it is.
Is that Q Prime management, like everything, Cliff Bernstein sitting behind you? And I was like, yeah. But the funniest part that somebody leaned over to me and was like, "Your seats are better than Lars's dad's seats." And I was like, "Oh, sir, that's not possible."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Oh, look behind you." And I go, "Sir, I've got some bad news for you."
Yeah.
Robert Ulrich is no longer with us. His up there.
Yeah.
That's not him.
He's got a good seat. He sees everything.
However, that is a very important member of the Metal Gandalf Club. Hey,
no, it is. Hey, I mean, at least the guy he got the connection. He was in the right framework for who that person must be. But
I don't know what aligned. I don't know what Ticketmaster magic or karma I have built up from all my years.
That's really but what a great story. I mean, it's you've just gone through at least a dozen things that could have all not clicked the right way, and it just seems like it was pretty. You said magical, and I guess that's exactly. I guess you weren't kidding.
It's the only word that really just covers everything, because these are all the things that go wrong, not just on a tour, but on a festival, and not just on a festival, like the first and only of its kind, a one-off that brings together people from all over the place, bands that aren't active, bands that haven't been active for a very long time, and some bands that are on tour, but, need to be special.
Yeah.
I'm talking Guns N' Roses. And, like plus the logistics of Ozzy, being as infirm as he was and still being able to put on that show. Like Ozzy, I don't want to say he looked and sounded great, because that sounds weird to say, but considering everything, he looked and sounded 100 times better than I expected him to.
I mean, I completely agree. Watching it myself, I was like, I was prepared for something very much less than what I got from him. And I think everybody was. And so, but then once you get over that and realize, oh no, he's doing well, then it's like, no, he really did. Like, it was fantastic. I mean, I think it really, he very clearly give that guy one thing to focus on for a few months, and by God, he's going to show up and deliver. And that's what it was. It was really, really moving, the whole thing. Just from the second he got out there, and that grin of just, it was awesome.
I think he was nervous in the first couple minutes, and then I think he just was in it. And then he clearly was feeling super emotional. And I think that it was like just this empathy bomb. Everything Ozzy was feeling on stage, everyone was feeling in the entire arena. You could just kind of see everybody just hanging on his every movement and every word and everything. And at some point I saw some people on my in Facebook or whatever saying that they thought the crowd was not very into it. And I'm like, that crowd was just focused.
No, that was, people were saying that in real time. Social media was all like, everyone's dead. There's been too many songs and too many bands. They're exhausted. And I had the same thought. I was like, no, this is what they've all waited for. Everyone is very dialed in.
No one knew what to expect. The press has been unbelievable. Like the press has been just off the charts with the Ozzy's on his deathbed. Ozzy's, it was just the Suicide Pact, the AI video that's out there of him, like that's not even him. There's so much insane press around him, all leading up to it, that nobody knew what to really expect. Everybody just wanted to be present. And that was crazy. Like, even when I filmed a lot, but I was filming it all like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wasn't watching it through here. So some of my videos.
It's like you were taking notes to remind yourself later, but you didn't want to miss the in the room, which is, yeah, great.
Which is becoming more and more a thing because, in a retrospective like this, and then sadly losing Ozzy this week, people are like, well, what other Ozzy show, or what was your first Ozzy show, or what do you remember from this and that? And it's like, oof. I mean, I know I've seen a lot of Ozzy shows. I know I've seen a handful of Black Sabbath shows, like maybe 6, but like I have some, like the memories are just really jumbled and hard to recall.
Yeah, sure.
That's why we used to keep ticket stubs,
Exactly right.
Reinforce those memories. And I failed at keeping my ticket stubs in a place where I could use them for that.
Yeah.
They're all in a tub in the garage right now.
It's not as cool to flip through your smartphone wallet to look at your outdated pass, like your QR code from a gig. It's not quite the same as a piece of paper.
They don't even save those. I think they auto delete. I think you would have to screenshot.
There's a moment in time if you still have a certain OS on your phone where they are all in there. I know people that have hundreds of those in their phone, but I think mine auto delete. I mean, anytime I put something in my wallet, it's not like there's old things hanging out in there, and I don't go in and delete them myself.
And let's face it, for the early years, right? You're a kid. So every ticket stub is precious, and it's in a photo album, and it's, everything that you have is like saved. And then, and you can relate to this, you kind of get into the industry, and next thing you know, it's just piling up, and you're like, what do I do with these things? I didn't want to like throw them away. So I just started putting them in bins.
Yeah,
right. Out in my garage, I have all these bins of like ticket stubs and sticky passes and laminates and guitar picks and whatever was the promo of the day thing. And I'm just like, I need one of those, like, I need an eBay store for rock memorabilia, basically.
Yeah, right.
I got to get rid of some of this stuff. I mean, obviously I keep a lot.
But it'll pile up, man. The last couple of years we've been clearing out our house, the basement and the attic. And then the storage locker we already had. I mean, overall, it was 2 dumpsters of stuff. And anybody that would walk in our house would never know we did a thing. It's all the stuff you have that's like, the bookshelves look a lot better now, but they look better. But it didn't look like we were hoarders before. But you just have no idea how much stuff you have until you decide to get rid of it. And it's shocking.
George Carlin had our number.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm still just trying to get rid of stuff. And then there's stuff you just feel like, oh, well, this has value. I can donate it. And then you're like, well, now where does it go?
Yeah. I mean, I've, in my younger days, I'd see somebody who was my age and talking the way I'm talking, and I'd go, oh, that's so sad. They just gave up on having cool stuff or whatever. It's like, no, it's since we moved to Minneapolis, we've got a great apartment. We love it. And I used to see people in apartments. I'd be like, that's tough. They don't even have their own house. And I'm like, no, I still have a house. I'm trying to get rid of it because this life is amazing. It's so easy. I don't have to fix anything.
You never have to mow a lawn?
Oh, it's fantastic. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'll never own a house again, but I still see I'm in my 3rd year up here, but it still feels like it's it's like a side thing for a little bit. We're in a different city and we're staying, but it still has that freshness to it. And, the last thing I want to do is have to track down a plumber and fix my roof.
And
I've done all that for years and years.
Green bin because it was pickup day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, 35 years of being a homeowner was plenty. I'm very happy not to have that stuff hanging over my head right now.
I got to be honest. I'm not mad at the idea of going full circle and ending up back in a condo, which was the first place I moved to when I moved out of my house that had a pool. Even if it was a community pool, like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a pool and it's hot out.
It's shockingly, it's just not at all what I would have expected. And it's just it just makes everything easy. It's just not even like literally, but just, it's, with like, just, it's just the vibe, like in my head, there's just all these things I don't have to think about. And I'm not consciously aware of it, but it feels great.
I would like to get rid of that mental clutter as well. I'm
We're
feeling your vibe, dude. I'm 100%
Yeah.
what you're laying down, and it's starting to be like 60s
Hey man,
gold.
and obviously the cutting all my hair off is a part of that too. It's like, hey man, I don't even have to think about this. I just get up and walk outside. It's great. It looks the same every day.
Not gonna lie, you know this. I miss the curls. I do, but I will
Mhm.
be honest, it does look good. It does look good. You look
It
like
does. Well, I just had a cut last week. It does still grow like weeds. I mean, my guy's like, man, I got to tell you, your hair grows so fast. So, man, I still have that going for me. Should I decide to bring it back, it's just a few months away. So that's good.
you won't. It'll never.
Yeah, I know.
Unless, maybe if there's a pandemic, the curls will come back.
Well, there's, it's that middle, it's that few months where it's not short and not long, and it's a
From year to
shrubbery.
year,
Yeah,
this is the nightmare phase where
yeah.
you're the kid from Dazed and Confused, right?
That's exactly right. Well, I guess yeah, that would be it would be a winter thing if it happens, so I can just have a hat on the whole time.
And a beard.
Not that I haven't been through this before.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
I did also go through Hyde Park and try to recreate your moment of like anger from the book. That is my favorite scene from the book, where
Yeah.
you're walking down the street just like
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Page.
Losing. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad someone is enjoying that episode.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I love that I've seen you talking about your book more often because it is one of, and I've read a lot of, believe it or not, I read a lot of rock biographies from
Mm-hmm.
people,
Wow.
and yours is one of my favorite because it has one of the most genuine and honest insights of what it's really like to be inside of a band.
Mm-hmm.
Because if for people who've been in that back room when the arguments are happening, I know that
Yeah.
what you see in the press is just
Yeah. Sure.
has been polished.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're hearing
It's
it from the band members, 99% of the time, it's like, dude, just gloss it over.
Yeah, and the thing that is interesting, bands just it's just like a family in that nobody sits down and says, hey, we're gonna put on a good face in public. It just happens. You know what I mean? It's like there's a sense of you just, and I heard it in my band, I've heard it in other bands I've spent time with. There's like a group speak, even if it's not group think, there's a group speak where people just start, you don't have a class where you sit down and decide how we're going to present ourselves. It just happens, and everybody has the same talking points or the same spin, because nobody's going to go, I think we really need some help. I think I think we're a mess. It's just like a family until someone does that. It's, unless someone does that, unless someone's willing to pull the pin out of the grenade, it's never going to change.
Do you think if the Black Crowes had a Metallica moment and gotten a therapist, that things would have been different?
If had everybody sure. I mean, I think that, and I'd say that about any band. If you do that and everybody commits to it, sure, of course. I mean, that was always that would have helped at any stage. That would have helped us in 1987, and it would have helped the last time I was around in 2013.
It would help everyone all the time, apparently.
Well, no, that's what it was. If and it's, as long as the idea is not that you're going to get a solution to everything, but you'll just understand, oh, we all have our issues. We're all, we all have goods and bads and pros and cons, and there's not anything that's black and white. It's all gray. And, it just, if it opens up, and again, I'm not even thinking about my former band. I'm just thinking about any group of people. It's just taking the lid off the crock pot that is 90% of the magic. And then you have to do some work. But I mean, just letting it all out, putting it on the table, that's huge, and that would help anybody.
And I feel like a lot of it has to do with that. On the one hand, it's very rare to get 4 or 5 people all on the same page that now is when we need help. right? 'Cause everyone's always in various states of this is messed up. This is really messed up. This is messed up.
Yeah.
We should do something about it. And I'm going to be high and please leave me alone.
Yeah.
Right. That
Yeah.
seems to be the cycle of trying to get everybody into that one place at one time. And then when you do, and it's like you said, you take that lid off that crock pot, you're taking away all of the ammunition, all of the sibling rivalry, all of the things that people use to hurl at each other so that nobody's paying attention to their own shit. And it's like,
it's very true.
Oh, well, now I can't bring up the fact that, you know, he did this that one time and it screwed everything up, because that takes away my ammunition for that. And so now I can't use that as a deflection point for this. And I feel like, God, that would make a difference in so many bands.
Oh, it absolutely would. Bands should have, you should have a therapist and you should have a head coach. You know what I mean? It's like, in fact, that's something I should do. You should get to an age when you've had experience where then you go take over a young band. It's like, you guys are going to do your thing, but occasionally I'm going to blow a whistle and you're going to have to do what I say. End of story. Save a lot of young bands some grief.
I like this for you. Steve Gorman, band life coach.
Oh God, it was funny until you said those words, and now it makes me nauseous to imagine. It's the last thing in the world I want to do.
I've ruined it with the life coaching, haven't I?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to keep it up. I mean, it is a very valuable thing, and it would be. We just need to come up with a cool name for it, right?
That's true. Yeah, Band Wizard. The what?
Band Jedi.
I prefer Wizard.
Too much Wizard? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We could go with Wizard. You're gonna have to grow a beard.
Seer, just SEER, Band Seer. You know, that's good. Yeah.
Band Savant.
Okay. Bon Vivant. Whatever. We can make this work.
I like this. Now we're a consulting firm. It's been a minute since we came up with an idea, so I feel
very true.
Back on track.
We have to, and here we have to continue our commitment to putting forth great ideas we'll never do a thing about.
Exactly. I'm 100% on that. How are things on your end? Like, I've been so busy with the Metallica shows and the Birmingham shows, and then, Ozzy passing. It's like, what's going on?
Things are good. Things are good. The summer in Minneapolis has been marked with a lot of smoke, Canadian wildfires. The winds blow it down here from up by like Winnipeg, up in Manitoba. And this is one of those days. It's just hazy as hell. We had a massive rainstorm. A couple nights ago, there was 3 inches of rain in an hour fell. I mean, it's been extreme weather for sure for this part of the world. We've had days where it's 97 degrees, and then 2 days later it's 67 degrees. It's been wild that way. And I would normally not spend a minute on the weather, but when it's that bouncing around like this, and then you walk out and it smells like you're standing next to a forest fire, and wherever you go in the city, it's weird. But that said, the Twins aren't very good, but I still like baseball, and we're getting through it. It's good.
Not good. We have not had the wildfires pop up.
My son turned 25 yesterday, and incredible. And our daughter is in Kenya, hanging out with cheetahs and hyenas and leopards and lions she's working for a cheetah conservancy, and she's out in the middle of nowhere, in the Jeep with a few other people, and they're all dressed in khaki, and they go out and monitor all these cheetahs and follow them around. It's crazy.
What am I doing with my life? When I grow up, I want to be your kid.
It's a thing, and she's like a cinematography and editing major. Like, she's, behind the scenes. She likes to shoot and edit. But she just applied for this thing that, like, she just saw it and was like, oh, that'd be fun. And they, it's like a bunch of anthropology majors and her, basically. And it's for students from all over the world. It's a group of 14 kids they take from 7 different countries. And she applied just as a lark and got it. And it was like, holy crap. And they just brought her to Kenya for 2.5 weeks. And she comes home Monday. She's having the time of her life.
Share
pretty
some
great
photos when you get a chance. I think that's
it's amazing.
Or
and it's funny because she's not
right. If she's a cinematographer, does she have like an Instagram that she's got all the things on?
Nope.
No. Oh,
Nope.
your
No.
food is really well adjusted.
Yeah, she's cool. And it's funny because she's not, we said, look, you don't have to, we don't need updates every day. Once you're there and you got to, just make sure you tell us like, this is working. It's good. And she's having the best time. And we hear from her like every other day. She'll just send like a little synopsis. I mean, 2 sentences of what she did that day. And then she'd been over there over a week. And I finally said, I mean, one picture, like question mark. And she's like, sorry, I'm never on. I don't, I'm not using my phone. She's got real photography equipment. So she's taking like real, she goes, I'll upload something when next time there's Wi-Fi, I'll upload and send something. So she sent, a handful of pretty amazing things. Like, holy crap. It's one thing to see a cheetah and even a leopard, but when she sends a photo of a giant male lion, it's like, oh, that guy was like right there, 20 feet away from you. Holy crap. Yeah, pretty awesome.
I should change my entire life's trajectory right
I
now. Go do
I'm
this.
telling you, I already, and I know this child very well, and she is not going to want to get on that plane on Monday, boy. I'm telling you, I know that she's just like already figuring out how do I get back over here and get a job out of this. I'll bet the farm on that one.
Well, then we'll have somebody to stay with in Africa.
Yeah. And you'd be able to go see her. It's all you're a couple dozen shots away from being able to go at any time.
Oh my God, dude. Did you get the shingles shot?
No, and I should, because I've had shingles, and let me tell you something, it sucks, man. And I need to go get one.
And if the shot is like 1/1,000,000th of what shingles is like, I'm so glad I did.
Because no one wants shingles, man. I'm telling you. I mean, unless you're one of those people who thinks it's fun to have someone hold a Bic lighter to your skin. If you like that, then go for it. But otherwise, it's misery.
I was lukewarm on the whole idea until I talked to a friend of mine who said he got shingles on his face.
David Letterman did. He was off air back in the day for like 2 weeks, and because he got right across his right over his eyes and stuff, he got shingles on his face. It's just, I can't imagine. I had it on the side, like my trunk, right on my torso.
That's where
that was. Yeah, and it was 2001, early 2002. I mean, it's that long ago, and I still like recoil at the thought. It was terrible.
He said it felt like there were bugs crawling under his eyes because I guess it also affects the nerves under the skin.
Yeah,
and it felt like there were bugs in my face, and it was weeks of it being on his eye, and he's bald, so it was all around his head. And he was on tour when it happened, and there was nothing he could do. He just had to go out.
I spent a whole day. We lived in Brooklyn. I was like, man, this shirt is itchy. Something's wrong with this shirt. Like one day, and I changed my shirt like 3 times in the same day, and I was like, something's going on. And then, and my wife finally said, maybe you got like a spider bite or something, because I was like I was like, I'm just on my side, and there was these 3 red bumps total, maybe. And they were like in a row. She goes, that looks like a spider bite. And so I thought, that's weird. Okay, that's probably what it is. And then within, 36 hours, it was like from the spine all the way around my side to the front. And it was just like, this is not spiders. This is something. And so I actually I was talking to a guy in my building. He goes, dude, I think that's the shingles. And I was like, no way. I don't have the shingles. And it was like saying I had, scurvy. I was like, shingles? Who gets those anymore? I thought it was something like from the 1900s. Yeah. But anyway, it's awful. Don't have it. I'm glad you got the shot.
Yeah. Well, as soon as he told me that, I made the appointment the next day, and it's like a 2-shot system, and you got to wait 2 months to get the second shot. And the second shot made me sick for like a week, and my arm hurt for like
really.
Yeah, it was bad. And I'm just so glad that I did it, but also so glad that it's in the past. And now I'm like preaching to everybody. I'm like, get that shingle shot because you can get it in your face, which is awful.
It is awful.
And then my friend's husband, she sends me this picture, and she's like, how weird. He had the flu or something, and now he's got all these like hives or something on his face. And I looked at it, and I was like, girl, he got the pox.
Ooh.
And he did 50 years, he's my age, so 52-year-old chicken pox. and she had chickenpox already, and she found out that you could get triggered. Shingles can get triggered if you're around someone with chickenpox. So she was like,
I mean, that's what it is. It's like,
shingles. And I was like, I told you to get the shot.
I mean, that's what it is. If you
But
shingles is, you get chickenpox as a kid and it goes away, but a little bit of it goes right into your central nervous system and it sits there. And that's what shingles is. It's the same. And not only is it brought on by stress, it's brought on by, stress, but you can actually, some people have like a car crash and they'll screw their back up and it'll just release it into your bloodstream. You can get it from an injury. Yeah.
It's not like we're stressed or anything.
Yeah, gee, let's see. I got mine a week after I quit my band, which was 2 months after 9/11, which was the month my wife said I'm pregnant again. So I was doing great.
No stress at all.
No, nothing weird in my life.
So weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've come up with a new $1 million idea, and we've had our public service announcement. I feel
Very
like
nice.
we've done a good job today. Welcome back.
We've done it, man. We can enjoy the weekend now. Our job is done here.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one.
Nice. I like that.